Eastern coastal plains of India. Coastal plains of India, formation, characteristics. The coastal plains of India lie along India's western and eastern shores, on either side of the Deccan Plateau. From the Rann of Kutch in the west to West Bengal in the east, they cover a distance of around 6,150 kilometers. The length of the mainland's coastline, including the islands of Andaman and Nicobar and Lakshadweep, is 7,516.6 kilometers. The western coastal plains and the eastern coastal plains are the two main divisions. On both sides of peninsular India are the country's coastal plains spread. About the coastal plains of India. A coastal plain is a low-lying tract of land near the seashore line that is flat and low-lying. A coastal plain is a low-relief continent bounded on one side by the sea or an ocean and on the other by mountains. As a result, they are confined on the seaward side by the seashore and on the landward side by the highlands. The land area gradually rises as one travels from the sea to the highlands. It forms a sequence of flat land terraces separated by scraps or hills with altitudes ranging from 100 meters to 300 meters. The coastline of India has an area of 7,516.6 kilometers, with a mainland coastline of 6,100 kilometers and a shoreline of 1197 Indian islands that stretches over 13 states and union territories, UTs. The Indian coastal lowlands are separated into two types, namely the eastern coastal plains and the western coastal plains. How are coastal plains formed? The Indian subcontinent was a component of the Gondwanaland supercontinent about 140 million years ago. During the continental drift from Gondwanaland, the Indian continent collided with the Asia continent and settled there. In addition, the Indian subcontinent enjoys access to both the east and west coasts of the world's oceans. Once the supercontinent split, the Indian tectonic landmass was left alone. It moved towards the Eurasian plate for millions of years before finally merging with it. Gondwanaland's tectonic migration led to the formation of the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal. India's uniform and largely straight coastline resulted from Gondwanaland's split during the Cretaceous period. Due to this fracturing, the southern coast and the coastal plains of India formed. Characteristics of coastal plains of India. The Indian coastal plains are between long-range mountain ranges and water bodies on both sides. These thin coastal strips extend west to west along the Arabian Sea and east to west along the Bay of Bengal. Between the Western Ghats and the Arabian Sea is the western coast. It's a three-sectioned plain with a narrow width. The Konkan is the northernmost part of the coast, the Kanad Plain is in the middle, and the Malabar coast is in the south. The plains that run parallel to the Bay of Bengal are broad and level. Northern Sirkars is the name for the northern part, whereas Coromandel Coasts is the name for the southern region. Large rivers like the Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, and Kaveri on the eastern shores produce enormous deltas. Between the eastern Ghats and the Bay of Bengal are the eastern coastal plains, and between the western Ghats and the Arabian Sea are the western coastal plains. Eastern coastal plains of India. The eastern coastal plains of India run from West Bengal to Kanyakumari's southernmost point, while the western coastal plains run from Gujarat's Rann of Kutch to Kanyakumari's southernmost point. The eastern shore comprises West Bengal, Orissa, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Pondicherry, and the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The Mahanadi, Krishna, Godavari, and Kaveri rivers, which flow through the southeast peninsula, have formed deltas. The eastern coastal plains of deltas are extremely fertile. The Krishna River Delta, also known as the granary of South India, is an example of this fertility. The rivers Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, and Kaveri, which comprise some of the largest deltas, alluvial fill the coastal zone, forming a considerable part of the plains. Characteristics of the eastern coastal plains. Eastern coastal plains, a large Indian territory, lies between the eastern Ghats and the Bay of Bengal. It runs from Tamil Nadu in the south to West Bengal in the north, passing via Andhra Pradesh and Odisha. Eastern coastal plains are broader and flatter than the western coastal plains. These are vast plains with an average width of 120 kilometers. Between the Mahanadi and the Krishna rivers, this plain is known as the Northern Sarkars, and between the Krishna and the Kaveri rivers, it is known as the Carnatic. Divisions of the Eastern Coastal Plains, India. The eastern coastal plains are further segmented into the 3 coasts listed below. Utkal Coast. The Utkal Coast stretches from Chilka Lake to Kalur Lake and covers a large region. Odisha's coastal parts make up the Utkal Plain. Rice, coconut, and banana are the most often grown crops. The Mahanadi Delta is part of the river basin. Other features. It is characterized by the fact that it receives a lot of rain due to the eastern Ghats. The Chilka Lake is the plain's most notable physiographic feature. It is the country's largest lake, with an extent ranging from 780 square kilometers in the winter to 1,144 square kilometers during the monsoon season. Andhra Coast. Andhra Coast extends from Kalur Lake to Pulicat Lake in the north and from Kalur Lake to Pulicat Lake in the south. The Krishna and Godavari rivers basins are included in this area. Other features include: the plain's most notable feature is the delta formed by the rivers Godavari and Krishna. The 2 deltas have joined together to form a single physiographic entity. Sriharikota Island, a long sand spit, has blocked access to this lake, ISRO launch facility. The Kalaru Lake, formerly a lagoon on the shore but now further inland, was once a lagoon on the coast. Coromandel Coast. Extend the Coromandel Coast. The Tamil Nadu Plain runs 675 kilometers along the coast of Tamil Nadu, from Pulicat Lake to Kanyakumari. It has an average breadth of 100 kilometers. River basin. The Kaveri Delta, 130 kilometers wide, is the plain's most notable feature. Other features include: it received a lot of rain due to the northeast monsoon, especially during the winter. The Kaveri Delta has become the granary of South India due to its fertile land and large-scale irrigation systems. Thank you.